Mercedes-Benz. The slogan says, "the best or nothing." But if you look at the repair history of the last 30 years, sometimes you definitely get the best, and other times you get nothing left in your bank account. Here is the truth. German engineering is a battle between the world's best engineers and the world's strictest accountants. Sometimes the engineers win, giving us million-mile legends. Other times the accountants win, leaving you with a luxury paperweight. Today we aren't just looking at specs, we are digging into the class action lawsuits, the secret warranty extensions, and the specific manufacturing dates that separate a dream car from a financial nightmare. We are ranking the 3 absolute worst and the 4 greatest Mercedes engines ever built. If you are looking to buy a used Benz, or you just want to know if yours is a ticking time bomb, this list might just save your savings account. Let's get into it, starting with the list of worst engines. Number 3. Mercedes M102, the soft camshaft disaster. We are starting with a classic, but not in a good way. The M102 is the 4-cylinder engine found in the beloved 19E and early E-Class models from the 80s. Everyone looks at these cars with rose-tinted glasses, thinking they are all golden-era tanks. But hold up, the M102 has a dark secret that shattered the over-engineered image of the 80s. Mercedes decided to move from a heavy-duty double-row timing chain to a single-row chain to save weight and friction. It was a fragility the engine couldn't handle, but that's not all. The real killer was the camshafts. During this era, Mercedes had a supplier issue with soft metal camshafts. They would literally wear down until the lobes were round, meaning your valves wouldn't open and your car would lose all power. You aren't just fixing a chain, you are often rebuilding the entire top end of the motor because the metal shavings have circulated through the oil. If you see a cheap 190E, check the service records. If the cam and chain haven't been done, run. Number 2. Mercedes OM651, the downgrade diesel. If you bought a 2.1-liter diesel Mercedes between 2008 and 2016, you might be driving the OM651. This was supposed to be the future of diesel technology. Mercedes equipped it with high-tech piezoelectric injectors to make it quieter and more efficient. Sounds great, right? Here is the truth. It was a catastrophe. The piezo injectors failed so frequently and so catastrophically that cars were dying in the middle of highways. It got so bad that Mercedes faced lawsuits and eventually had to recall the engines to downgrade them back to older, cheaper solenoid injectors just to make them run. And that's not the only plastic tragedy under the hood. The water pump housing is made of plastic. When not if it cracks, it dumps all your coolant instantly. Oh, and like the M102, the timing chain is at the back of the engine. If it rattles, you are pulling the engine out. It's an engine designed by people who never had to work on one. Number 1. Mercedes OM642, the billion-dollar mistake. And the king of the worst list? The OM642 V6 diesel. You will find this in almost every ML, GL, and E-Class diesel from the mid-2000s up to recently. It pulls like a freight train, but it has a fatal flaw buried deep in the V of the engine, the oil cooler seals. Mercedes used orange rubber seals that turned into hard plastic after a few years of heat cycles. When they fail, oil pours down the back of the engine. The seals cost $5. The labor to get to them takes 12 hours because you have to strip the entire top of the engine. But listen, the oil leak is just the start. This engine is the center of the massive Blue Tech emission scandal. The emission systems on these engines are so complex and prone to clogging that Mercedes paid out billions in settlements. The intake manifolds get clogged with soot, the swirl flap motors seize, and the AdBlue heaters fail. It is a brilliant engine, strangled by its own emissions equipment and cheap rubber seals. Before we switch gears to the engines that will actually last longer than you will, if you're enjoying this deep dive, hit that subscribe button. I'm digging through service manuals so you don't have to. Subscribing is free, and it tells YouTube you want more honest car content. Moving on to the best ones. Number 1. Mercedes OM606, the super turbo legend. Let's wash the bad taste out of our mouths. If you want a diesel that will survive the apocalypse, you want the OM606. Produced in the late 90s, this 3.0-liter inline-6 is widely considered the best diesel engine ever made for a passenger car, period. Why? It's the 2JZ of the diesel world. The internals are forged steel. The block is cast iron. But here is the secret that tuners know. It uses a mechanical fuel pump. If you send that pump to a specialist, like the famous diesel mechan in Sweden, and swap the 6mm plungers for 7.5mm ones, this stock engine can handle 500 horsepower and 7,000 RPM, and it will sound like a jet fighter while doing it. You can find these in the W210E class. The car around it might rust into dust, but the engine will be running perfectly when the sun burns out. Number 2, Mercedes M113, the bulletproof V8. If you prefer gasoline and V8 rumble, the M113 is your holy grail. Found in the 555 models from roughly 1998 to 2006, this engine proved that simple is better. Mercedes stopped trying to be fancy with 4 valves per cylinder and went back to a 3-valve design with a single cam. The result? An engine that simply does not break. We see these routinely hitting 300,000 miles. There is virtually no plastic to crack inside the engine. The only thing you need to watch for is the harmonic balancer, the main crank pulley. The rubber dampener can deteriorate, and the pulley can wobble into the timing cover. It's an easy inspection. If the pulley is spinning true, this engine is bulletproof. Whether it's the naturally aspirated version or the legendary M113K supercharged beast in the E55 AMG, this is the peak of reliable German muscle. Number 3, Mercedes M111, the taxi driver's choice. It might not be sexy, but the M111 4-cylinder is a hero. This is the engine that powered millions of European taxis in the C-Class and E-Class during the 90s and early 2000s. It is over-engineered in a way modern 4-cylinders just aren't. It uses a heavy iron block and a robust timing chain. But hold up, it has one weird quirk you need to know about. It suffers from capillary action. The cam magnet at the front of the engine can leak a tiny amount of oil into the wiring connector. That oil can actually travel up the wire, inside the insulation, all the way to the car's computer ECU and fry it. It sounds insane, but it happens. The fix? Mercedes released a simple pigtail adapter wire that stops the oil travel. It costs about $30. Install that and you have an engine capable of 500,000 miles. Number 4, Mercedes M156, the last naturally aspirated king. Finally, we have to mention the M156, the 6.2-liter V8. This was the first engine AMG designed completely from scratch, and it is a masterpiece. No turbos, no superchargers, just pure displacement and an 8,000 RPM redline. Now, you might have heard horror stories about head bolts snapping on this engine, and that is true. But here is the context. This only affected engines built before 2011. Mercedes updated the bolts to a stronger design in the later models. If you buy a 2012 or newer C63 or E63, or if you verify the bolts have been changed on an older one, you have one of the most reliable high-performance engines in history. It drinks gas like a frat boy drinks beer, but the smile it puts on your face is worth every penny. So there you have it. The M102, OM651, and OM642 are the ones to approach with extreme caution or a very thick wallet. But if you can find a clean OM606, M113, M111, or assorted M156, you are buying a piece of automotive history that was built to last. Which one of these would you put in your garage? Or do you have a horror story about one of the worst ones? Let me know in the comments below. I read all of them. If this video saved you from buying a lemon, hit that like button and subscribe for more no-nonsense car guides. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.